Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are talking about being gay and wanting a family. So, I recently posted a video on TikTok, sort of jokingly, because my brother and I both intend to be the fun uncle, and neither of us sort of really want kids. And it got me thinking a lot about LGBT queer people wanting a family, wanting to have kids, wanting to get married, have that very traditional sort of family, or adopt, surrogacy. There's lots of different ways that people become parents and decide to have a family, or, what that looks like. A lot of people now, especially in my generation, decide that they just want to be the fun aunt or the fun uncle or the fun person in somebody's life. They don't want to have kids themselves, either because of just they don't want to, which is totally fair, because they can't. There's all kinds of reasons why people decide that, they don't want that traditional family. They don't want, whatever. But there is a huge group of people in the LGBT community who do want a traditional family. And I feel like I don't know if they get attacked for it, but they're definitely looked at in a different way than the rest of the LGBT community. Because being gay, kind of limits your ability to have kids. You can't just, go get a glass of wine and make a baby. And so it takes some kind of intervention, or, like I said, adoption, surrogacy. Your best friend decides to be your, what do they call, surrogate mother. There's all kinds of stuff like that. And for a long time, I really thought that I wanted that path. I really wanted kids, if I can't find the right partner, I'm just going to have kids by myself. And who knows, maybe my perspective on this changes or something. But for a really long time, I really thought that I was just going to do surrogacy. I was going to do it on my own, have my kids, I've got a great family and a great support system behind me. And, that would all be fine and dandy and super easy. But I've been thinking over the last, year or two, just about the way the world's going, the way the situation is, the economics of it all. And I really genuinely think that I'm fine without kids. This is my opinion. I feel like in the gay community, you get blasted from both sides. So you get blasted by people who are like, why are you having kids? The world doesn't need that, blah, 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 blah. But you're also getting blasted by the parents being like, why won't you have kids? You should be, it's your responsibility or whatever. And so you never really have a balanced perspective on this. Usually people are either for or against, and if you're not in their camp, you are the enemy, which is a really bizarre thing that we do in the gay community. We do it with other issues other than just having kids, but this is an issue that always ticks me off, because people always think that it's acceptable to express their opinion about whether I should or shouldn't have kids, or whether they should or shouldn't have kids. And when it comes down to it, it is none of our business. It is none of your business if I decide to have kids or if I don't. It is none of your business how I decide. If I decide to do adoption, if I decide to do surrogacy, if I decide to do anything at all, it is not your job to give your 2 cents about what you think should happen or what is best for the child or any of this kind of stuff. I think it's a super toxic space to be talking about. And if you want, you can go to the comments in my TikTok or on my Instagram, and you can look through the comments, because some of them are disgusting. Some of them are really stupid. Some of them are just downright mean, bullying. Just the idea of a gay guy having kids, people are super for or super against it. And I just think people need to be a little more human and understand that if this is what somebody wants, all power to them. If it's something they don't want, all power to them. I don't know, this is a sensitive topic for a lot of people, because the idea that oh, I'm gay, I can never have kids, people take that the wrong way. I said that in the TikTok and people got really annoyed with me about what do you mean gay people can have kids? They can do it all this way. It's duh, I know that. Of course I know that. But people have this really sensitive skin when it comes to parenting and LGBT people. I find that like lesbians, like two women, never get the hate that a man gets for trying to be a parent and trying to do it themselves or do it with like two gay men. Because we always go off of this like, well, you know, a child needs a mom and now they have two, so that's even better. But gay men tend to get like a really difficult um, situation put in front of them, and you know, like there's all of this issue. I mean, like gay men have been sexualized so much that the idea of us wanting to be parents is like, that's suspicious. That's not good, which is disgusting. And it annoys me so much. And again, it's a sensitive topic. But I think at the end of the day, it comes to wanting to do it. If you want to do it by yourself, if you want to do it as a couple, like whatever you want to do, you can do. And I honestly believe that gay parents are probably better than straight parents because a straight couple can get pregnant so easy and it can happen by mistake. It often happens by mistake. Like, I don't know about you, but a lot of people I know have had kids through just because, you know, it happened. It wasn't because they carefully thought it out. You know, like if I wanted to adopt a kid right now, I would have to go through such a strict vetting process where they look at my finances, they look at where I live, how I act, they would interview friends and family. Like there is a process if I want to become a parent. And even if I want to become a parent through surrogacy, there's a whole process, there's a psychological evaluation, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like it is no small feat for an LGBT person or an LGBT couple to become a parent. You know, two lesbian moms, like the egg donor process, the sperm donor process, like it is effort. And so I honestly believe that gay parents will probably on average be better than straight parents because they've had to think about it critically and decide if they truly want this, if they're ready for this. You know, they go to parenting classes, they are so much more attentive. So like the idea that LGBT people shouldn't be parents or whatever is such garbage. But we are also now seeing the reverse of this, where we're seeing people get angry at other people for not wanting to have kids. You know, I used to sort of roll my eyes when people said, we're not childless, we're child free. But if that's the way you want to live, that's how you should live. Like nobody should be forced into having kids if they don't want them. And you know, you hear it so much from people who have kids like, oh, well, you'll regret it in your 50s, you'll regret it in your 70s, like you'll wish that you had kids. Maybe, but at this point in people's lives, if they don't want to do that and they don't want to have kids, that's absolutely fine. But I just feel like the whole space of the queer community and parenting is so toxic. Every single person has an opinion and it's always going to be antagonistic and opposing what you want or what you believe or whatever, and everyone just freely gives out their opinion. You know, I'm giving you my opinion on people's opinions, but like I don't have an opinion on whether you should be a parent or not, or whether we should have kids, or if we're responsible by not having kids or whatever. Like if you want to do it, do it. If you have the financial ability to bring a child into this world and to show them the magic of this world and the beauty and raise responsible, honest people, amazing, great, you should do that. And if you feel like, you know what, I would rather enjoy my life in other areas, do different things, put time into my nieces or nephews or my friends or my life, do it. You know, this whole judgment of you should have kids, you shouldn't have kids, you realize that it's basically just society. You know, the reason that like our governments and all these things want us to have kids is so that they have a next generation of taxpayer. They have a next generation of people to deal with all of the debt and the poor decisions that they made. So if you don't want to have kids, if you want to be the last of your generation, last of your line or whatever, that's all power to you. You should. And don't let anybody guilt you or force you or try and make you feel like it's responsible to have kids or it's responsible to not have kids. It just is. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just what you want. And if your life is made better by having kids, do it. If it's made better by not having kids, all power to you. I will see you on the beach in Mexico. So that's all I wanted to say. It's a sensitive topic. If you are an LGBT person and you're thinking about having kids or not having kids, please know that whatever decision you make is a good decision for you. Honestly, don't let anybody guilt trip you into anything. I see it so much where some of my straight friends will get into a situation and then it's like, oh no, like I don't want to have kids. And then they get like guilted into it. And it's like, no, if you don't want to have kids, that's fine. And if you want to have kids, amazing. I will see you at their birthday. Like I will be there as the fun uncle, whatever. But yeah, don't let anybody pressure you one way or the other. Do what is right for you. Do what you believe in. And honestly, like, yeah, I think I'll just leave it there. I don't want to get too fired up about this topic or something, but there are a million ways that an LGBT person can have a family, and you can have a romantic partner. You can have several romantic partners. That's a thing now. And I know people judge it, but if that's the way you're wired, go for it. You know, as long as everybody knows what's going on and is consenting, great. But families come in all shapes and sizes. The judgment of other people is irrelevant and should not factor into what you want in your life or what you're doing. And at the end of the day, if you're going to be an amazing parent, go for it. So that's all I wanted to say. If you are not an LGBT person and you think that you can have an opinion on LGBT people having kids, stop. Just like with anything, you know, if it's her body, it's her choice. If it's my body and my family, it's my choice. So it's that simple. You don't get to have an opinion on how people live their lives as long as everybody is consenting and doing the best they can. So just let me repeat that. You don't get to have an opinion on other people's lives if it's not interfering with yours. Okay? Like, I feel like that is something that like our society cannot understand at this point. You don't get to have an opinion on how other people are living their lives consensually. It's that simple. Like, I don't know why it took gay marriage this long to come about, because it's not your life. It's not your choice. If I want to get married to a guy, I'm going to do that. So that's really all I have to say. Just lead your lives with compassion and love and understanding of other people. Realize that not everybody thinks like you. Not everybody had your upbringing. Not everybody has your resources. So there you go. Parenting in the LGBT community. It is a very contentious, debated thing where people regret not having kids, regret having kids. You know, there's all these kinds of stories that you can hear if you listen, and you listen to the wisdom of people who came before and the wisdom of young people who are living their lives right now. It is no good being 60 or 70 years old and judging my generation for deciding to not have kids. If we can't afford it or we don't want it, don't force us into it. You can look at all the bad stories in the newspaper about parents who didn't want to have kids and now their kids are having problems. So that's all I'm going to say. Love, compassion. If you want to do something, do it. Like be who you want and don't listen to the naysayers. They are so irrelevant to your life and your pursuit of happiness. I did a video recently about pursuing your happiness and just not caring about what the critics say, because the haters are always going to hate. It's so true. It's so true. Taylor Swift said it best. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to my rant. I apologize for being kind of ranty. Like I said, parenting in LGBT is a very contentious matter, and I've had people yell at me for not wanting to have kids, and I've had people yell at me for wanting kids. So it's a sensitive subject, especially in our world where having a traditional family is supposed to be the norm. So that's all I'm going to say. Be sensitive, be nice, be kind, love and compassion. Leave your respectful comments down below. And as always, guys, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.